Hello and a very warm welcome to each one of you. And today we are diving into chapter number 17 from this book, Awaken the Giant Within. Now, what is the topic? हमने बात कर ली है रूल्स के बारे में and now we are diving into references. References, yes. References are the threads, yeah, of the fabric of life. Um, let's quickly dive into the chapter itself and see what does Tony Robbins has to share with us in this beautiful read. But अगर नॉर्मली भी सोचा जाए इसके बारे में तो रेफरेंसेस आर हाउ वी लीड आवर लाइफ. हम अपनी लाइफ में कुछ भी डिसीजंस लेते हैं, वी रेफर बैक टू व्हाट हैज हैपेंड इन द पास्ट, इजंट इट? let's connect with the references, since our experiences nurture our references nurture the way we think, the way we feel, the way we act. And let's see, I'm looking forward to what Tony Robbins has to share in this. Chapter number 17 references the fabric of life. Man's mind stretched to a new idea never goes back to its original dimensions, says Oliver Wendell Holmes. Wow, this is such a beautiful statement. जब हमारे को new ideas आते हैं, we evolve. We do not go back into the smaller state of ours. As he stood in the flight deck, the young lieutenant watched a jet plane skid out of control onto the aircraft carrier, a wing slashing out and nearly cutting in half a man standing only a few feet away. The only thing that pulled him through the horror of the moment was the booming voice of his commanding officer shouting at him, "Somebody get a broom and sweep these guts off the deck." There was no time to think. He had to respond immediately. He and his fellow crewmen swept their comrades' body parts off the landing strip. In that instant, 19-year-old George Bush has no choice but to learn to deal with the carnage of war. It would be a memory he would recite often to describe the shock of violent death and the necessity to be able to respond. Another experience that shaped his life was a bombing mission he flew not long after the tragedy of the ship's deck. He was sent to bomb a radio tower on a small island in the South Pacific. Chichijima was the prisoner of war facility run by the infamous Japanese officer Matoba, who Bush and his crew knew had committed brutal war crimes against his prisoners. Such unbelievable atrocities as cannibalizing some of the men and putting their remains into the soup for meat, feeding it to the other prisoners, and then telling them afterwards that they had eaten human flesh. Oh my God. As young George Bush approached the target, he has absolutely resolved to isolate this madman by destroying his only tool of communication, the radio tower. As he approached his bombing run, he was hit by enemy attack. Smoke filled the cabin and he was determined to hit his mark. In the final seconds, he managed to release the bomb, smashing the target and destroying the antenna. Instantly, he gave the orders to eject. He turned the plane back out of sea, and when his turn came, the bailout did not take place as planned. His body was slammed against the tail of the aircraft, tearing the portion of his parachute and grazing his head. The damaged parachute functioned only partially in breaking his fall. But just before he hit the water, he cut himself loose. Struggling back to the surface with blood oozing from his head wound, he desperately groped for his life raft. He found it, but as he dragged himself into it, he saw that the water and the food canisters had been destroyed upon impact with the aircraft's tail. To make the matters worse, the current was slowly pulling him directly towards the beach of the island he had just bombed. Can you imagine what they would do to him? As his raft was drawn closer and closer to the shore, his fear grew. Then suddenly he began to see something in the water. At first, he thought it was his imagination. Then he realized it was a periscope. He was about to become a prisoner of the Japanese. But as the huge submarine began to lift out of the water in front of him, he realized it was a Finback, an American submarine. He was rescued, but only in time for him to have to endure yet more peril. Upon picking up bush, the Finback dropped quickly as the enemy boats approached and began dropping depth charge on the submarine. All the Finback could do was dive and remain totally still. The crew was unable to do anything but call upon their fate and pray that the explosives would not destroy them. George Bush not only survived his experience but also completed many other successful bombing missions and returned a war hero. He said that his days upon the submarine were some of the most important of his life. Days when he began to think about destiny, about who he was and why he was put on earth. What role did these experiences play in shaping the character, identity, and destiny of George Bush? Clearly, they became the fabric from which many of his core beliefs and values would be cut. The fabric I called reference experiences. These experiences would be part of what would guide him more than 40 years later to become President of the United States. They also helped him mold his beliefs and his sense of certainty into good must stand up to the evil. They gave him a sense of confidence that if he gave his all and did not give up, he would produce the results he desired against all odds. How do you think these references shaped his actions almost 5 decades later as he sat in the Oval Office contemplating his response to Saddam Hussein's unprovoked invasion of friendly Kuwait? If we want to understand why people do what they do, a review of the most significant and impactful reference experiences of their lives certainly gives us clues. References, the fifth element of a person's master system, really provide the essence or the building blocks for our beliefs, rules, and values. They are the clay from which our master system is molded. There is no doubt that a person who has experienced and triumphed over tremendous adversities clearly has strong references from which to build a consistent level of confidence, a belief or faith in themselves and in others, and the capacity to overcome challenges. The larger the number and the greater the quality of our references, the greater our potential level of choices. The larger number and the greater quality of references enables us to more effective evaluate what things mean and what can we do? The reason I say potential choice is that while references, oops, while references provide us with the foundational ingredients of our beliefs, we often fail to organize our references in ways that strengthen us. For example, a young man may have tremendous confidence and skills on the football field, but when he enters his history class, he may fail to summon that same sense of certainty that could help him to maximize his potential as well in the classroom as he does when he is facing his foe across the line of the gridiron. If he approaches football with the same attitude of defeat or doubt as he did in his history class, he would be incredibly ineffective. What determines which of our references we use? Clearly, the emotional state we are in will radically impact which flies. That means which memories, emotions, feelings, sensations that we have stored are available to us. When we are in a fearful state, only the references we are associated with those fearful sensations in the past seem to come to mind, and we find ourselves caught up in a loop. Fear leading to reference of fear, leading to multiplied fear. So it is said that our brain works in a way कि हमारा जो भी thought होता है उसके evidences and references our brain brings forth for us. If you are thinking on a negative line, it is going to come, and if you are thinking on a positive line, that is what exactly is going to come. All the references and the evidences from the past from on the same lines is going to come. If we are feeling hurt by someone, we tend to open the file and remember every other experience when that person hurt us, rather than changing our state by remembering how this person really feels about us, remembering times when they have been loving to us. Therefore, the state we are in will determine how much of this fabric is available for the creation of the quality life. Another factor besides state is to have an expanded reference system, one that can clearly add to our level of understanding as to what is possible and what we are capable of, no matter what challenges may arise. Have you seen how when you have a fight with somebody, especially your spouse, you remember all the past problems that have also arrived, how he had not done something XYZ for you in the past as well, how he made you feel in the past as well. That is how it works. There is no doubt references are one of the most important elements of our decision-making process. They clearly will shape not only what we do, but how we feel and who we become. Contrast Saddam Hussein's reference experiences with George Bush's. We know that Saddam's father physically abused him, that his uncle taught him how to nurture a grudge and to hate the English overlords. While Bush was rewarded for heroism, Saddam's role model were those who learned to control others with murder and propaganda. Over a period of about 15 to 20 years, Saddam repeatedly attempted to oust the leaders of Iraq, killing anyone who got in his way. As a result, he does not perceive setbacks, regardless of how bloody, as failures. He has come to believe that in the long run he will always succeed. This is a belief, by the way, that has allowed him to prevail even after his defeat in Persian Gulf War. By the age of 42, he had eliminated his opponents and taken control of Iraq. To many, Saddam is a monster, and people often wonder how the Iraqis can support him. The answer is that Iraqis perceive Saddam Hussein as one who helped them turn around in their country. He helped to provide better housing, education, and so on. To the Iraqis, he is a hero. Besides, all Iraqis from the age of 4 or 5 are taught that he is a hero. His image is displayed everywhere, and they see only his best side on nationally controlled television. Did Saddam Hussein become a murderer purely because of his references of being abused as a child? Far from it. Many people have emerged from very familiar reference experiences as compassionate and sensitive people, and sensitive who, because of their pain, would never allow anyone else to be abused around them. Many of these people strive to help others. Could someone else have been on that same ship with George Bush and been devastated by the death of his friends and used that as a reference for the belief that life is not worth living or that war is never justified? You bet. Once again, it's not our references, but our interpretation of them, the way we organize them, that clearly determines our beliefs. How the son of a father who drinks a lot, one of them sees him and sees that the fun they have after drinking and chooses to be the person who drinks in his adulthood. And then there is another boy who sees his dad drinking and feels that he acts absurdly, and he decides that he's not going to drink. As much as it is a rule, it is the way you perceive what is happening around you. Which references play the largest role in our life's experience? It all depends on what we get reinforced for. Saddam was rewarded for cutting a wide swath of murders and destructions en route to leadership of his country. George Bush was reinforced constantly for his focus on doing the right thing, contributing and helping those in need. These reinforcements helped to create the foundations for very different destinies for these men's lives. Wow. कुछ समझे? References हमारी लाइफ में जैसे भी होते हैं, they are like the threads that weave the fabric of belief, rules, and identity. Every event, every experience, or every memory we hold becomes a reference that either empowers us or limits us. Now, what do we learn from what we have read so far? Our lives are shaped not by the external world, but by the references that we choose to focus on. Each belief we hold is built on a collection of references. References का मतलब proofs, experiences, stories, memories. Also, references can come from personal experiences, the lives of others, books that we read, movies that we watch, and even imagination. The quality of our lives improve when we expand and upgrade the references we allow ourselves to collect. हमारे ऊपर डिपेंड करता है कि हम किस किस्म के रेफरेंसेस को अपने अंदर स्टोर होने दे रहे हैं. There happens a deletion distortion, है ना, before anything gets compartmentalized in our brain. It is our choice which one do we move forward with. I would love for you to reflect on which past experience do you keep using as a reference to limit yourself? क्योंकि जब हमारे को पता चलेगा कौन से एक्सपीरियंस को हम as a reference use करते हैं to limit ourselves, then only we will be able to break that reference. Also, I would love for you to check with yourself which empowering references highlight references जैसे कि wins, successes, inspiring stories, people around you, can you choose to highlight instead? जब आपको एक बार limiting reference पता चल जाएगा, then we have to move towards, we have to shift it towards the empowering reference. If I kept on saying and telling myself कि since I got married early, I will not be able to do anything in my life all my life without taking references of other people who, being in the same situation, have achieved a lot in life, I would be the same person all my life. I would have been there. I could not have been here doing what I am doing without the mini me die. That reference to break, for me to adapt a new reference that is somebody else's maybe success. Why do mentors tell you कि अगर आपको कुछ करना है, go check out for the people who have already done that. If they have done it, you can also do it. Then number 3, I would also love for you to reflect on how would your life shift if you consciously started gathering empowering references on daily basis, every single day. Yes, that's it for tonight. Today. This is what I wanted to share. I hope this makes sense. Tomorrow we will be diving and moving forward with understanding कि references होते क्या हैं? What are references? Let's understand that tomorrow so that we know it even better. And then we will understand कि reading जो होती है ना is feeding your mind. हम जब books पढ़ते हैं, I want you to know that when we read books, there is a lot of reference that we are giving to ourselves by the lives of the people who have written those books. It is also said that the books that you hold in your book rack, you are bringing the energy of those authors into your house as well. See what works for you. I would love for you to sit with yourself today and refer to the 4 questions that I have shared. I will be sharing that in the WhatsApp community with the paid members as well. And see if you can work around with those 4 questions, because before we understand कि हमारे क्या references होते हैं and how does things change for us, let us understand कि अभी फिलहाल हमारे क्या references हैं and how can we shift. To an extent, you can also go scroll social media and everything and look around for people. If you can't find any references from your own life, look out for people who have done it. And if you have names of them, write it in your book, because in case you want to refer to these people in your future, you have them with you. All right. All right. Have a good day. Enjoy your day and have a blessed, blessed, blessed evening. God bless you and lots of love. Bye-bye.